What's going on, guys? It's Nick here, back with another fantasy football video. We got another good one for you today. The top 5 potential running back busts 2017 fantasy football season. If you guys follow the channel, you already know some of the people that are going to be on this list, so get your comments ready. You all got a lot of hate in your hearts, and I'm sure I'll see it in the comment section below. But maybe you have the same opinion that I do on some of these players. There might be one surprise, and it'll probably be the first one. I really kind of divided this video into the first 4, so I guess 4 through 1, are guys I definitely wanted to put on this list, but I struggled to find a 5th. I really did. So if you want to throw the number 5 out, go for it. I still won't be drafting this guy and really anyone on this list, but you can throw number 5 out if you really want to. But I do think you guys are going to enjoy this video. Maybe not as much. I did not expect the response you guys had for Wednesday's video. You guys smashed the like button on that one. Things at like 150 likes already. But if we can shoot for 100 in this video, I would be okay. I would really enjoy 100 likes in this video. I think it's a good one. You guys seem to always like the top 5 videos. I only made a few of them last year, but you had such a good response on them. I figured, hey, every Friday we're going to throw a top 5 out at you. So if you're new, hit the subscribe button every single Friday to get a top 5 video. Mondays are mock draft Monday. Thursday we're testing things out in mock draft. Wednesdays will be rankings, which, update here, next week, I believe it's next week. Through the rest of the year until rankings are done, we release one ranking every single week. But let's hop in to this video right now at number 5, with probably the only surprise in this list. It's Christian McCaffrey. Now, I love Christian McCaffrey. As an NFL fan, I think he's a great player. I think his future is huge. I think he's got a great future in this league. The issue I have is that you're drafting him in the late to sometimes mid-third round, and all of these ADP is going to be for PPR leagues. It's going to be an aggregate of ESPN and Fantasy Football Calculator with, if it's a huge gap, generally speaking, I'm going with Fantasy Football Calculator because ESPN is so off. But most of these were pretty close, except for one, and I think I put it onto the slide. But end of the third round, where's the upside? Give me the upside. He's not Ezekiel Elliott. I know that he went early in the first round like Elliott did. He's not on the Cowboys offensive line. He's not on the same offense, and he's a different runner. Now, I know you guys are going to write in the comments, oh, he's a great between the tackles guy. Okay, he probably is pretty good between the tackles, and he can pass catch. But for me, I don't see the upside with opportunity share. He is not the only guy on that offense. I mean, as much as I hate Calvin Benjamin, he's there. I think Funchess will get targets. Greg Olsen, is going to get peppered. They're still going to give the ball to Stewart, especially, in my opinion, near the red zone. Plus, Cam Newton likes to run the ball in sometimes. Now, he hasn't in recent years as much, but he will still take some goal line carries. He will still take away some touchdowns. So, for me, I don't see a touchdown upside. Now, a stat from Rich Rebar and Matt Kelly kind of combined on this stat is a good one. And it's something I really think is the entire point of drafting Christian McCaffrey this early. Is that, yeah, you're going to get receptions, but 22 top 15 PPR running backs over the past decade have scored fewer than 7 touchdowns. That's my issue. I really think he's around that 5 touchdown range. 5 or 6 touchdown. And could he be top 15? Yeah. But you're drafting him right at that mark. So his upside is right where he's being drafted. If you don't believe that, I mean, you can't not believe that stat. That's a real stat. But if you don't believe the touchdown thing, listen, also, you guys watched the video I did on Wednesday, how to predict top 5 running back. IBM Watson loved 7. I don't know what the number means with this stat and with that, but 7 touchdowns is just something that IBM Watson said was super important for predicting an elite running back. And I don't see Christian McCaffrey having 7 touchdowns. His Vegas line is 7 right now. So that's where they're setting him at. I don't see that. I see a 5 touchdown guy, a guy that could get like 40 or 50 receptions. He's probably going to be at what, 150 to 175 carries, and I don't see top 15. And you're going to need to give me RB1 upside if I'm taking you in the 3rd round. So for me, it's a no. Dynasty, it's a yes though. But right now, it's a no in redraft. Lamar Miller, number 4. Current ADP is the early 3rd round. I don't understand that. He has a 0, in my opinion, a 0% chance of returning 3rd round value. Okay, he was 6th last year in carries. Number 6 finishes 19th running back in PPR scoring. And it's not because he didn't catch either. He had some receptions. They drafted D'Onta Foreman for a reason. They come out and said, listen, we used Miller too much. And it did cost us a little bit towards the playoffs. You watched that playoff game that they had, and listen, they were feeding him. They were feeding him late in the season. He just wasn't productive. I mean, he wasn't doing anything. Unless he was playing the Colts, which was the only week I started him in DraftKings. Pat on the back there. But unless he was playing the Colts, he wasn't doing anything. And everyone did good against the Colts. So we're taking a guy that needed volume just to be okay. Plus, we're drafting him ahead of where he was last year. So you're drafting him right now for positive regression, which isn't going to happen because he's getting less carries and he was inefficient. Well, what makes you think that given less opportunity, he's going to be better? He needed all of that volume just to be okay last year. And I really think if it was like a third down guy coming in, it would be okay. But Foreman's going to take first and second down carries. Could take some touchdown carries. And it's not like they're going to score, a ton of touchdowns. So if Foreman comes in and grabs 4 touchdowns and comes in and takes maybe a 30% market share, you're kind of killing the value for Miller. And if you're not giving me, in my opinion, he has no RB1 upside. If you're not giving me RB1 upside in the early 3rd round, I just can't do that. I mean, Crowell, Mixon, and Hyde are all being taken after him. Now, I can get Hyde. I know why people are scared of him, injury standpoint, no touchdowns, but I would take Hyde, even in PPR scoring, over Lamar Miller. I'd easily take Mixon, and then you guys know I love Isaiah Crowell, so there's no doubt in my mind, any draft, I would take Crowell ahead of Lamar Miller, and he's going after him. So, for me, absolute no on Lamar Miller. I just can't do it. I don't see the upside, and I do see a pretty mediocre floor. Next, y'all ready? You guys know I hate Melvin Gordon, but I don't hate Melvin Gordon. That sounds counterintuitive. Counterintuitive? Whatever it's called. It sounds like it goes against itself. Because I hate where Melvin Gordon is going. I don't hate the player. I had him on the top 5 running backs to draft last year. I said you should be drafting Melvin Gordon because the value was there. He saw no touchdowns in his rookie year. He wasn't horrible. He wasn't good. He wasn't horrible. So you're going to see positive touchdown progression. You would hope that he'd improve in the 2nd year. So all made sense in what was it, 5th or 6th round, you were getting him. It made sense to take him last year. So I did. And I told you guys to too. But this year, he's going 9th overall. And there is absolutely no way I'll be taking him 9th overall. If you think he's great, you think he's going to get the workload, listen. He could finish top 5 and still be a disappointment. And that doesn't sound normal. But think about the Brandon Cooks thing that I always talk about. Brandon Cooks could finish as a wide receiver 1 and be a disappointment for you. Because he's going to have monster weeks and he's going to have nothing. I think it's a slightly different case with Melvin Gordon. But I think with him, it's early in the year, he's probably going to dominate. Because they have a really tough passing schedule early in the year. But then it's really easy against the pass. So when I look at their schedule and I say, well, at least what's it for the championship in the semifinals? At Chiefs semifinals, at Jeffs championship. No thank you to that. He won't be started anywhere in DraftKings, and I wouldn't want to start him in. Those are tough matchups. And that's not the only thing. Yes, it's impossible. To go to Arrowhead is really tough. Le'Veon Bell made it look easy, but going to Arrowhead is really tough on a running back. Okay? Going at Jeffs is probably as tough as it gets for running back in your championship week. And that's if he stays healthy. Ankle sprain, torn cartilage in his knee, PCL sprain. That's in the last 2 years. He's yet to finish a year healthy. First year, he went out on IR. Second year, he goes out on IR. You think in 3rd year, he can't go out on IR? He is probably up there with Le'Veon Bell as the most injury-prone running backs, the most injury-risk running backs. So when you give me a very difficult championship and semifinal schedule, when you give me a different team, because he's going to see touchdown regression. I said he went from 0 to 10, and that's in less games than he didn't play the full 16 games. When you add in Keenan Allen, when you add in Mike Williams, you already have Tyrell Williams. He's going to see touchdown regression. So taking him 9th overall very much caps his upside. I'll take him in the 2nd round. I'll probably take him early in the 2nd round. in that 13 to 15 range, but he's not going to be going there. I promise you, he will be going 7th, 8th, 9th overall in drafts come August. And you just can't do that. There's no upside there to cover. There is upside, but there's no upside to cover how much risk he has. Because you can't have your first round pick going down in week 7. And I think that could happen with him, and he could disappoint in the championship, even if he puts together a good year. And we're trying to win championships here. So, number 2 is Danny Woodhead. I know a lot of you guys actually enjoy drafting yourselves some Danny Woodhead, but the early 6th round is just a little bit crazy. Now, maybe people don't realize how old he is. He's 32 years old. I mean, it's different at the position he plays. He's not a between the tackles guy. He's not a heavy workload guy, so 32 for him isn't as bad. But you don't draft him. You don't draft him to be there at the end of the year. Like, that's the issue. I want to draft guys who can win me my championship, and he's not going to do that. If you draft him and Doug Martin as like a combo, okay, then you're playing him weeks 1 through 3, and then you're hoping Doug comes through. Like, okay, I can get on board with that. Then you don't need him to produce for the entire year. But then isn't he kind of a waste of a pick? Like, can't I get someone else to just fill in for 3 weeks who's actually going to be there at the end of the year? Because I think he's probably going to either get hurt or not be productive at the end of the year. I think Kenneth Dixon can come in and get those receptions. Because remember, Danny Woodhead is only going to be a reception guy, so you can't draft him in standard leagues, definitely. But he's only going to be a reception guy. He's not going to be like a huge workload, like rushing carries guy. So if Dixon's going to take some early down work with Terrence West and then also take some receptions out of the backfield, where's the upside? And where he's going, like, I'll take him late in drafts. Again, there's players I'm fine with taking Danny Woodhead. I love Danny Woodhead. I'm a Patriots fan. He's my boy. But the 6th round, early in the 6th round, he's going ahead of Dalvin Cook, Gillislee, Perkins, Ingram. What? No! Ingram has way more upside. Perkins has way more upside. Gillislee, Cook, they all have way more upside in the exact same floor, if not a higher floor. So you have to be smart when you're making these picks. Danny Woodhead is a guy that's probably going to go off in the first month. I'll say it right here. He's probably going to go off. But you got to dump him. If you actually draft Danny Woodhead, you need to trade him in the first month if he's pulling together 12 plus PPR points a week. Because it's not going to happen when Kenneth Dixon comes back. And I don't see the upside late in the season. He's not going to be a productive runner. His reception totals are going to be fine, but they're not going to win you leagues. And I want guys that win me leagues, and people going after him can. Number 2 is over. Number 1, Frank Gore. You guys have heard me say it over and over again. Don't draft Frank Gore. He's being drafted in the 7th round in Fantasy Football Calculator, the 6th round in ESPN. I think that will drop a little bit. But when he's going ahead of Adrian Peterson, Tevin Coleman, Mike Gillislee, and Paul Perkins, you have got to be kidding me. Do you guys know he's 34 years old, or do you just think that he's going to play until he's 70? Because it seems like he's going to play until he's 70, but he hasn't been productive. And I've already talked about him in a different top 5 video because I want to hammer home the point. There has only been one running back season to ever finish with more than 94 PPR points at age 34 or older. So one running back, this is since 2000, has finished the top 50 running back. And we're going to take him in the 6th round? Come on. Yes, it was Emmitt Smith. And what did he finish as? He finished 168 points, which was worse than Jeremy Hill last year. So Frank Gore's upside right now is Jeremy Hill last year. And did you want Jeremy Hill last year? No. He doesn't offer upside, so don't draft him. I just don't draft people who have zero upside. His ceiling is a high-end 3. But why would you take a guy who has a high-end 3? He was not productive over the last 2 seasons. It was all volume-based. And Marlon Mack will take the volume away. Believe me, he will take volume away because they're going to give him the ball. Because Frank Gore's 34 years old. Consecutive seasons under 4 yards a carry. The only 2 in his career. 0.6 yards after contact per touch. 73rd in the league last year. 23rd in evaded tackles while being 7th in carries. He just got a ton of workload and a lot of touchdowns. He's probably going to see touchdown regression. I don't see him. I don't see it. I know people doubt him every year, and they're proven wrong every single time. I don't see it happening this year. That is the end of this video, the end of the top 5 potential bust running backs for the 2015 season. Whoa, 2017 season. We ain't back in time. Top 5 potential busts for the 2017 fantasy football season. That is the end of this video, and thanks for watching.